Hello class and welcome to the Week 8 Lab 2 individual assignment in Applied Word Processing. For this video we're going to go through the second lab. In the labs, create a memo with an Excel table and chart. We'll be looking in our e-textbook on page WD 532 and 533. When we launch our e-textbook, we will see Lab 1, creating a memo with an Excel table and chart. We will need a student data file in order to complete this assignment. That's located back in our eCollege website. You'll locate that by clicking on Doc Sharing, and in the category, select the Student Data Files link. We'll want to scroll through and locate the Lab 8-1 School Enrollment in Excel spreadsheet. You'll need to download, save, and open that document. When you open that Excel spreadsheet, it will look like this, where here we'll see the school enrollment data. Back into our assignment, when we go through the steps for creating this memo, this is ultimately what our completed assignment will look like. Looking at step 1 in our assignment, we're going to begin launching a blank Word, not a blank word, but we're going to start with creating a template using Memo Elegant. Here I can see that as part of my selection. You can also use the search and simply search for Memo. When you search for Memo, and it will go through many different templates, we see that there are many different Memo style templates to select from. We're looking for the Elegant Memo, and we will then create. Here's the start of that memo. Now the data that we need for this memo is located in our e-textbook back one page when we will navigate back to see this completed memo assignment. In order to get started, instead of typing in Letitia Adams, we're going to simply type in your name. So you'll type in your student name here. I'm just typing student name, but be sure you actually include your name in the to column. Looking at the from column, we're going to insert in Jeremy Ogden. So back into Word, I will enter in that information. And then for the subject, I will put enrollment study. And for the date, I'm going to go ahead and click on today's date. So you'll select today's date. Now per our assignment instructions, we need to get rid of this CC line here. Whenever I select an area or row that I want to get rid of, on the Tables tool, I have a Design tab and a Layout tab. On the Layout tab, I will see the Delete option. When I select the click down arrow on Delete, I'm able to delete rows, and that will get rid of that CC row there. The next thing I need to do is look at my first line paragraph indent. In order to get rid of that, I'm on the Home tab. In the paragraph panel in the lower right is the dialog box. I'm able to see that I have first line indent. On the pull down arrow, I'll select none to remove that. In the preview, you can see the difference in the preview and how that will change. That allows my first line indent to be removed. Here I'll need to type in the data as outlined here in this figure 8-74. As requested, the following table and chart show current and projected enrollment for each one of our 4 elementary schools. I'll need to type that in there. So I'll need to, as requested, the following table. See what my next part is. And chart show the current projected enrollment. Just making sure I have this correct for each of our 4 elementary schools. And there I have that put in just as we see in the figure. Now we're going to actually link an Excel spreadsheet. Well, let me show you two quick things with that. The Excel spreadsheet that we downloaded from our student data files, I'm actually able to select the data, simply right-click and copy. Now back into my Word document, I have the option of just pasting that Excel sheet in there. Control V or you can paste. Now my spreadsheet is just pasted in here. However, if I update any data or information on my chart, it's not reflected live. So the best way to do that, if you want live data represented, maybe I have monthly memos of sales performance or enrollment statistics or number of patients or customers we've seen. I am going to want to link my Excel spreadsheet. In order to link the spreadsheet, same thing. I'll copy the data, and in Word, instead of simply pasting it on the Home tab in the Clipboard panel, click on the pull-down arrow next to Paste and select Paste Special. Here I have a Paste Special dialog box. I need to select the radio button to paste the link, and I am pasting a Microsoft Excel worksheet object. Now I will select OK. I need to center this table, so I'll center that Excel spreadsheet in. When I change data on my Excel spreadsheet and I enter that data in and save that, ultimately here in my Word document, that's automatically updated. Here you see it's 3:30, and just to show an example of that again, let's say that I change this to 1000 and I save that. When I come back over to my Word document, that change is reflected immediately. Let me change that back. And so live updates are a benefit of actually linking the table from Excel when we use Paste Special. If I just paste, my data is not automatically updated like that. So once I now have my actual data pasted in and linked, the next step of our assignment is asking to break the link. When I select this table and I right-click, I see that I can update link, and when I see linked worksheet object, if I go down to the links pull-out menu, I will see the links dialog box. This is where I can locate to break the link. It will verify if I'm really sure I want to break the link, and I'm going to say yes for the purposes of this assignment. Once we complete that, I want to make sure that my cursor insertion point is where I'm going to want the next item, or in this case will be for the actual chart that we're going to insert. I'll click on the Insert tab in Word, and on the ribbon in the Illustrations panel, I have an option for Chart. When I go to Chart and I look at the line charts, when I hover my cursor over any one of the objects, I see the tooltip display. Here I see this is a line chart with markers. That's what I'm looking to insert, a markers chart. So I'll select the line with markers and say OK. After Microsoft Word processes that, which you can see my cursor is in the think spinning mode now while it is processing and adding that chart, we're going to then make some revisions and changes to that chart. One of the changes is we're going to copy the rows from our Excel table to add into our markers chart. As soon as my chart appears, I'll be able to go on to, I believe it is in step 4 of our assignment directions. My computer will run a little slower while I also have Excel and I have Word, and I am also doing a desktop recording. So as soon as I get that, we will then move on to step 4 in completing the revisions for this chart. Once I have selected my markers chart and inserted that, I will have a pull-up dialog window that now is looking for the plot area for my marker chart. I'm going to go back to that Excel spreadsheet that we downloaded from the student data files. And here I'm going to select these rows for my data that I am plotting, and I'm simply going to copy them. Back over into our Word document, I'm now simply going to replace this information by pasting in the same data from our Excel spreadsheet so that it's able to plot that data accordingly. Now that I have that in here, I see that Series 3, this is an area that I do not need. I'm able to right-click on that and I can select Delete Table Columns and get rid of that last column for Series 3 that I do not need. Now I can close this window and I have the start of my chart. We need to make some modification from the chart. So when I select my chart, I see that I have chart tools that are now available tabs for me for design and format. On the design tab, I see the chart styles panel. When I hover my cursor over, I'm able to see this is style 12. Here I can see style 11. I want to select style 11 for my chart. After selecting that, I'm going to need to give a vertical axis title, and I'm going to also give a chart title. When I look at my adding elements to the chart, I can click on the plus and add elements. The axis title is one checkbox that I'll turn in. Here for axis title, I'll simply be able to change that, as the assignment says, to number of students. Once I have that, I'll need to actually replace this chart title and enter in enrollment chart. The next thing I want to do is I want to move this legend. If I want to move the legend, I can select Format Legend, and this gives me a menu option of where I can position the legend. I need my legend to be in the top right, so I'll select that radio button. Once I moved the legend into the top right, I can now look to format the values here for my vertical axis. When I look at formatting my vertical axis numbers here, I am able to right-click, and again I can format that axis. It gives me the bounds. So the minimum bounds that I'm looking to start at per the assignment is 150. I'll hit return or enter, and you can see my starting position down here is at 150. You'll want to make sure that you match that up so it's the same as the example in our assignment directions. And so we want to make sure that we have our page that's all on one sheet, that you do have your student name here in the to column. And once you've completed these steps and married that along with the assignment directions, you'll now be able to save your file. Remember, add your name when you save this Week 8 Lab 2 assignment and upload it into Dropbox. I look forward to seeing your Lab 2 assignment.